Bruff. Uptown TV looking at the mirror, yo, who this? Uptown TV this. With the maddest and the baddest review now, miss. Need some self-time, so we need it. Looking at we are the realest. Bruff. I want being a representing a man for Uptown TV.
They exploit our labor. They have determined that Jamaica is a service industry. And by that they mean servile. And by that, in terms of what really happens, they mean slave. So we find ourselves enslaved in the plantation tourism. And we take special note that all the operatives in the tourism sector, those who work in the tourism sector at the highest level, that now they only wear silk suits. Have you noticed? They've moved from linen and cotton, and now they only wear silk suits upon the back of the Jamaican people. As we go into 2025, we must determine whether or not we are okay with remaining as slaves, enslaved to their system of plantation tourism, or if we will free ourselves and break the back of this apartheid. So it is for us to decide where we go from here. As we go into 2025, everything is changing. They want us to believe that there is economic stability. We know that is not. They are telling us that what we are experiencing is not real. They tell us that we are experiencing prosperity because look, they say, everywhere you look, there is a building going up. The construction industry is booming. There are many problems with that. We would be better off running barefooted on the wide open spaces than to live in poverty and oppression and neoliberal projects and exclusion and using the masses of us as slaves. We have been enslaved again by the government of Jamaica, and this time we have walked into this willingly with our eyes wide shut. As we go into 2025, we've got gun violence to contend with. We've got violence on the roads, road rage and motor vehicle accidents. But most egregious of all, we've got structural violence. That is the violence that the government of Jamaica, through its systems, its economic structures, its social structures, its political structures, its environmental structures, its health structures. That's a violence that the government of Jamaica is unleashing on the people of Jamaica, and we are dying in droves, and our loved ones are dying, and we are unhealthy and hungry. Prosperity around us, everywhere around us, 1% controlling, 21 families controlling this prosperity. So we see this so-called prosperity which we are unable to access because they have written into this prosperity a deliberate clause that it's ensured that unless we scam our way out of it, into it, we'll never put a foot into this prosperity that they're telling us about. Our people are suffering. Many levels, still and now, we see a regime in power that is more or less authoritarian. It doesn't mean anything, so that when they gave themselves 300 and 200% increases in salary, the political class, and the people demonstrated for 14 days or more in front of their finances, their Ministry of Finance, and in other places across Jamaica. They didn't even come out to talk to the people. And the people demonstrated they needed that 200% increase to give us the best possible service. It turns out that we are the ones who are being serviced. It's rape. It is a sexual assault on our person. Corruption and nepotism is the order of the day. Nepotism leading to unequal access to resources and services. Nepotism where their wives, their husbands, their children sit on every single board, get every single education scholarship, are first to know of the opportunities, and then come them auntie, uncle, cousin, friends of them cousin, friends of them cousins' friends. And those of us who play by the rules get shafted. This is structural violence. And many who are shafted are falling down dead from heart attacks and strokes. There is an increase in strokes and heart attacks in Jamaica. Tell them I said so. And if they say we do not have the scientific evidence, tell them we have the community evidence. Have hijacked the colors of Ethiopia to carry out this dastardly act. We see structural violence in the healthcare system. The Minister of Health must resign. Nothing left for Dr. Tufton to say, and his very conscience, if he's left with any, must direct him to step down. It doesn't. To what end, Mr. Tufton? To what end will you sit in this seat and preside over the continued degradation and decay in our healthcare system? You must be aware that it's not working. What about Cornwall Regional Hospital? Are we okay that billions, at least millions, into billion of dollars have been thrown at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and yet the healthcare system is in tatters? Are you comfortable, Mr. Tufton, PhD, with watching our mothers sit on the cold concrete and the cold benches in so-called hospital waiting rooms, outpatients, outer door, outside in the heat and the rain? For 2 days, for 3 days, without a bed, sitting up in a chair or on a bench or on the ground, on the floor for 3 days, 4 days, for hours. This is not an exaggeration. I've witnessed it myself. I've experienced it in my own family. Are you okay, Dr. Tufton, that you have all given yourselves 200% increases? The medical doctors across Jamaica are suffering, can hardly make 2 ends meet, and the doctors at KPH in particular are suffering from all kinds of ailments because there's just not enough resources, people or otherwise, in those spaces. You must resign. Do not even wait for Monday morning. Resign. Resign. It's the honorable thing to do. Step away. This is structural violence. Our people have limited access to health care, to quality health care. Medicines are exorbitant, the prices. And they say health care is free, but it's not really free. They see you and then they prescribe. And if they see you, you're lucky, but they go and prescribe. And our people who are suffering from all kinds of ailments in Jamaica. The tablets, you got to get $200,000 for one tablet. $150,000 for one tablet. You cannot afford to be sick in Jamaica. You cannot afford to be ill in Jamaica. And you cannot afford to die. Because burial is even more expensive. It is structural violence and our people are dying. And we say this from the very bottom of our hearts, that the Minister of Health must resign. I'll come back.
Speak truth!
While the private jets were coming in, our mothers were dying in childbirth. While the private jets were coming in, our grandmothers and our grandfathers were dying on hospital chairs. While the private jets were coming in, our sisters and our brothers who have cancer are being given prescriptions costing $250,000 for one dege tablet, $150,000 for one dege tablet. Can't buy it, so they are dying. Private jets are coming in. We can't buy a loaf of bread, we have to buy 2 slices. While the private jets coming in, the Chinese and others are selling chicken tips to the poor who are witnessing prosperity but cannot buy turkey, so them have to buy chicken tips. How many of our Jamaican people are currying chicken tips? How many of our Jamaican people are buying 1 squeeze of toothpaste? How many of our Jamaican people are buying 1 nickel tip of tupsa oil? How many of our Jamaican people are buying 2 loaves of bread? How many of our Jamaican people cannot afford egg? Boasting about how many private jets coming in. I am telling you, we got a problem. We've got a problem. And we won't get out over this until we have figured out what really happened. And we have to figure out a way to prevent it from happening again. We can't go through another year in this condition. They're telling us about prosperity, and they say, look at the construction industry and look at the roads. And they say unemployment is the lowest it has ever been. And what is the employment? It is not much different from slavery. And it's the very same conversation they had in slavery. The slaves were enslaved, were gainfully employed without pay. And even in those 4 years of apprenticeship, it was just stealing the labor of the people. And here we are. Here we are. And they're dressed up in their leather shoes, their patent leather. And their silk suits. And every single piece of clothes them have on come from somewhere overseas. They are GQ models and Vogue models. And they are showing us their homes on their social media pages. And they post pictures of themselves on private beaches with just them alone. And as far as you look from the east to the west, it's just white sand and them alone. And we are locked out of that. And we're playing in muddy waters. If you drive past Flavors Beach, everybody in there and all you see is mud. In the pristine waters, all you see is mud. And they're telling us that we're okay because look at the construction industry. Look at the BPOs, and unemployment has gone down. And the people of Jamaica are gainfully employed as slaves. How much more can we take? How much more are we going to take? They're telling us that what we're experiencing is not real. That is a narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic perspective. It's a dark triad. And they're so manipulative that they have gotten up most of us to buy into the reality that they have painted for us. That is a personality disorder that Professor Fred Hickling wrote about. We are now living through the pages of the research done by Professor Fred Hickling.
People, speak truth.
The last time inside of this program for the year. When we come back, it will be 2025. The Great Reset is well underway. Transhumanism is well underway. 5G technology is moving into 6G technology and other kinds of technology. SpaceX is doing what it's supposed to do. Neuralink is doing what it said it was going to do. The World Economic Forum is on track to do what they said they were going to do. As a matter of fact, they have once again put out a simulation. Just before COVID, they put out a simulation. Remember that there was going to be a pandemic and they had the entire newscast. We played that newscast live here in the space, but it was a simulation. Well, they have another simulation, the World Economic Forum, going through the very same thing, that there's a pandemic, and the pandemic, they did that 2 years ago, you know. Listen, there was a simulation they did 2 years ago saying that, you know, a great pandemic was coming and what it would look like, and you know, the entire world would be locked down and governments would have to be involved and so on. And they said in that simulation that it was going to happen in 2025. Now, we're just saying what we see and what we hear. Okay? So basically, if you Google it, hopefully you can find it. I'm not quite sure if it is still up, but it was up until just recently. All right. Let me tell you what's happening now. I need to, okay, Jamaica for Sale. Jamaica for Sale film screening. That will be happening. So Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement, JABEM, is presenting Jamaica for Sale film screening. This should be a film introduction and post-film Q&A with filmmaker Esther Figueroa. And this will be on January 5 at 5 p.m. Jamaica time. In-person screening at the Mansionil All-Age School, Mansionil in Portland. There's also a Zoom link and a YouTube link. So go to JABEM's website or JABEM's Instagram page for the... Right, so the Zoom link is... Okay, I have to... I'm not saying this properly. All right, it's bit.ly/JABEM JA for sale. JABBEM JA for sale. So before that, it's bit.ly, then / then JABEM. Sister Audrey, celebrating 21 years, your anniversary. Hey, good morning. Happy anniversary from me and from all of us here at Area FM, Rusty and Sister Audrey. Are coming in 974-5079, 5051, 5043, 618-0352, 618-0352. Greetings. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, greetings.
Greetings.
Yes.
Who is I'm speaking to?
Sorry, this is Kabu.
Kabu?
Yes.
Morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a cover better still.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're sounding very muffled.
I have a question.
Yes.
And this is to your pressers.
To who?
Your pressers.
Okay.
Anyway, I like to use the government.
Mm-hmm.
Am I turn to Kabu?
Yeah, this is Kabu. You're sounding very muffled, and so I'm not hearing you clearly, but I'm hearing you. So if you speak slowly, I'll hear the question.
Okay.
Yeah, so you say you have a question?
Yes, to the oppressors.
For the oppressors, yes.
Yes, that's the government I'm speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I like to ask the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister and the Social Security Minister. I'm an NIS pensioner.
Yes.
And I'm speaking on behalf of the pensioners.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to ask the Prime Minister and those other two finance ministers, maybe not the one which is current now, but Nigel Clark.
Mm-hmm.
He left and gone about his business.
Yes.
Can $13,000 feed one of their dogs for a month?
That's a very good question.
Yes. Well, I'm a pensioner, as I said, and that's what I am getting for a month since last year. Because before last year, it was 7,000.
Mm-hmm.
And but the 7,000 was able to buy a lot of things more than now. Because now, I can't even buy seasoning.
Everything is being imported, and that is why the prices are so high. We are importing everything. And if we stop to look at ourselves, you're a pensioner, $13,000 per month, and I'm telling you, you're correct. The question you asked, can $13,000 feed one of the dogs of Andrew Holness, the former Minister of Finance, and the Labour Minister, right, for 1 month? And that is an excellent question, and I think they should answer it, every single one of them. Now, the point I'm making is, yes, and you said before that you were getting 7,000. The 7,000 could buy more than the 13,000 it is buying now. Just a few.
Yes.
Just a few.
And that is a fact.
Yeah. So if you look at our import bill, I saw an excellent breakdown of what Jamaica is importing opposed to what Jamaica is exporting. And we still have a taste for foreign goods. And the government of Jamaica is facilitating that taste. It's driven by the private sector. So here we are. Everything is expensive. What is your solution? How do you plan to go ahead, move now? Because you're talking about light bill, water bill. Obviously, you got your telephone. These are things that you need. But then on the other hand, there's food.
Don't mention those things, Kabu, because that is not in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Light bill, water bill, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's housing.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry. I think you either your credit ran out, which is a point we're making, but we lost you. But this is a point that I've been trying to make. That they tell us about prosperity, they tell us that unemployment is lower. They tell us that just look. The point is come like if you read your Bible, there's a whole answer to what the government is doing here now, taking you to the highest pinnacle and say, look, all of that is yours. Fall down and worship me. This is what narcissists do. It's a manipulation technique. It's smoke and mirrors. It is satanic. It is of the devil. It is demonic. Where we tell you that we're suffering and we're not accessing this prosperity that you talk about, and you point and you say, look at the roads and look at the construction industry, and the tourism minister and all of them in them silk suits say, look at the private jets and look at the plantation tourism, and look at the cruise ships and so on. The danger in all of that is that none of that money coming from tourism, it's just maybe $1 out. How many dollars from the tourism dollar stay in Jamaica? And when it stays in Jamaica, where does it really go? These are the questions we must answer. And then the model of tourism is a plantation-style tourism, which means you have to make yourself the humblest slave. Like you're coming from the Han Dynasty. When when the Wei Dynasty captured the Han Dynasty, look at history we are talking about now, and that kind of a humility, you have to kowtow is the word I'm looking for. You have to kowtow as they did during the times of the Chinese thing, the Han Dynasty, and it was worse during that time when the people were enslaved by the Wei Dynasty, Chow Wei. It's Chinese history. Anyway, we taught the history as it comes. But this is basically what is happening to us now. we have to kowtow to them. And if we don't kowtow to them, then so we belong to another political party. But I want to make something very clear this morning, is that without tribalism, without political parties, one thing we're sure of, and that is those of us who strive to live will live. Those of us who want to die may die. But the bottom line is that we're going to go down fighting, and we're going to stand up fighting. Let me go back to the phone lines. Greetings.
Yeah, man. Blessed good morning, Kabu.
Blessed, my brother. How you doing?
Yeah, man. I shall cover your past through, you know?
Yeah, give thanks.
Yeah, give thanks, right?
Yes.
I'm blessed all the Irish, I don't know.
Yeah, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. What's on my mind now? When me hear the Prime Minister say, boy, you have to make case to fix up the road in the holiday. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So I say, if he couldn't fix it before, but you want make case fix it now because you want less accidents.
Well, the roads are really bad. You have to make case fix them one way or the other.
Yeah.
Are they being fixed? Do you know?
No, none of them not fixed. Just one and two out in the town here, the little get up at them and all, not fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been traveling. I've been on the road. I see some little patching here and there. Some work going on. I see some little patching. I don't listen to the work, but I see some little patching here and there where they had some really terrible potholes. I see that a lot of those potholes are closed off. Just in select areas, though, I mean.
Right. Don't know the little ghetto part, them and country part, them and less. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me hear so the Christmas money will not for the people in work, no pay yet either.
Yeah, I know for the road, I'm not me playing good neither.
Well, here we are. Well, 2025, look for you. You're farming?
Yeah, man, always a farm, you know.
Yeah.
Kabu.
Yes,
never give up the farm, you know, because food and stuff of life. You see me?
Exactly.
Yeah, man, right now, want some more yammed to go up on the farm. You see me?
All right, give thanks. Love the sound of that. Love the sound of that.
Yeah, man, I mean, I build some positive music here. You see me?
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Yeah, man.
As usual. All right, what good?
Yeah, man, bless up, Kabu.
All right, give thanks.
Yes.
All those who are involved in that whole process, they're failing Jamaica big time. It's another question we're going to ask ourselves as we go into 2025, if we're going to go in so. Let me take another call. I'll come back to agriculture in a minute. Greetings.
Morning, Kabu.
Yeah, man. Greetings, my brother. How you doing?
Good, good. As long as I was off, I change my radio. I have two radio. I change it from 5 o'clock, so you can't wake me up. Because, Kabu, if we don't hear you on Muta and me getting life country, we run up in our water. You hear, Kabu? Because, as I said before, they send us to school and teach us their way so we can come out and work for them.
Yes. The education system is meant to program you to fail. And like you say, to work for them. Yeah.
Kabu, check some of these man, the Isan and Mafu. If you check it out, these guys don't really have the education as us, you know.
Yeah.
Or you have to go working for them, we're slaving for them. They have a friend up to Christmas shower. You say you're good. Kabu design that way there.
Yeah.
While Andrew and Mark will just enjoy the riches wherever they get it from, and then people are saying,
and many before them, from 1962 till this day.
Kabu, I grudge them because my tax-paying money, when the police stop me and tell me 4 years and I pay me 6,000 a ticket and I pay tax by every food. Kabu, I grudge them because my money. All right, Kabu, I went to Mega Mart week before and bought a piece of saltfish. I want to promote them name because they're not going to business for about 5. So when I went up there yesterday, it's $800. I have to just leave it. I'm in a supermarket, Kabu.
It's a national dish, but it's also imported. And our dollar is tied to the US dollar. The US dollar is an interesting thing with the US now. The US is heavily in debt, but the US can't print money because their debt is in their money. So they can print money and pay their debt. Our debt is also in US dollars. This is our problem. We buy everything. We buy everything in US dollars, and we're importing everything. And saltfish is a national dish. We need to change that.
Yeah, the imported is right about that, of course. Kabu, because one of them friends who was in the parliament get a contract. Kabu, I have to leave it in the evening. I took an ex-police friend to
the drugstore Crossroads, some medication.
Yes.
$12,990.
For what?
I can't believe for the drugs.
For the medication?
Ex-police. For the drugs for the ex-police and have strokes. I'm going to say, Cabo, then
Yes.
obviously this thing have to just kid us off.
Oh, yes.
Because we can't maintain.
And this is why everything is connected now, The way we eat, we're going to have to be healthier going into 2025 because we cannot afford to be ill. We can't afford it. When we say afford, we mean say we can't manage to pay for the sickness. We can't buy medication. And we have to go private doctors and private hospitals because they have set up the public hospital in a way that it'll kill you quicker than if you never did go to the hospital at all.
It's like the side road car, but they set the side road away. Mash up a car, and I'm going to tell about pay with him, but still, him not take the tax off a part. And the side road is mash up, so obviously it forces you to take the toll. It's just them trick car.
It's violence. It is violence against the people of Jamaica. They are criminals. They must go to prison.
No choice. Nothing will buy something. Them not take it back. Nobody's there apart from you and Muta and Jerry and Miguel back with nobody's there. Police not tell you to come out here, can't ask why. You stop me and I'm tell you about no ask no question. And you're saying nobody. The price will go up and Andrew Owens is so silent.
But they're telling us that they're telling us that we're okay, my brother. They're telling us that we're okay. They're telling us we're okay. You're not listening to them.
Selfish. Yeah, but listen. Carway saw these guys selfish. Them build all the apartment, them real estate now. And I heard one sell $35 million. I'm African next when I'm say. Then a man will around $4,000 a day. And for mine, average him 2 pitney plus him wife. How is it that it's possible that this man can own a kid? And you tell them, say, over Cabo, say, if you don't care for the Jamaican people, cut the land and give it to poor parents die for it, Give it to if we can't put up a house, make a farm. They're not doing it, Cabo.
But we have to demand it, though, because right now, you see the stage that we're in, our backs are against a wall.
The wall, and I'm out the back, Cabo. It can't go like this, Cabo. Just check the food every day you go, and I buy the food. It just gone up, and this man don't come and say, I'm going to take the tax if I mean so good and I love Jamaica. I'm going to take the tax. Some things were tax there for me, so the woman, Cabo in a supermarket. I said the egg, for about 20 seconds, she argue. Why is it take the fan tax? And these guys, just as I say, smoke cameras, go around and just tell Jamaican people, lie.
And this is the point. And so I want to say something before we go because I have to go to a break. But we're going to have to, self-sufficiency going to be important in the meantime. Because, we can talk and talk. These people don't look like them about to change, and not many, we don't have and it look like we don't have a critical mass yet. Whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen because the people can't take anymore. So it's going to implode. It has to implode or change. So, but in the meantime, we have to feed ourselves and feed our children. And I've been looking at this very closely. To me, the bottom line is we have a farm. We have a plant. We have to put food. We have to put food in the ground.
Yes, because we're too sad. We have to get piece of land and farm, a backyard. That's true. That's the solution.
And we need access to water. So we need access to water. That is critical right now. We must know where the water sources are. And I'm here talking about drinking water now. We must know what the water sources are, how we're accessing those sources, and ensure that we make sure that they remain in our hands because they're taking away all those sources. What they've done.
Cabo.
Yeah.
Well, finally. Mm-hmm. You mentioned a thing about the water. I could also make it brief as about the water.
Yes.
They are not going to do nothing about the water, so the water waste because we have to buy them water.
But even if we go buy them water, all right, give thanks. I see the point you're making. I have to go, but thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. Give thanks.
I'm Black Power, Mr. Black Power.
Every time. Only to us this morning. We're taking your telephone calls at 876-974-5079, 876-974-5051, 876-974-5043, or 876-618-0352. phone lines. Hotep, good morning.
Good morning, Light. I hope you are lighting up the place. Light with some thought too, you know. How you doing, girl?
How you doing, my? I'm well if you two are well. How are you doing, my sister?
I am perplexed.
Yeah.
So let's keep it like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. What perplexing you?
Well, I don't want my children to die, and they're dying.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna just use this program to advise our people.
Yes.
Stop buying foreign food.
Stop buying what?
Stop buying foreign food. Sweetie.
Foreign. Yes.
The sweetie them I eat off the pit of them. I call it off of your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
In a mail, not buy no sour sweetie unless a tambourine and the grower.
Mm-hmm.
On the top buy bomb and those things are giving them cancer.
Mm-hmm.
On the top buy foreign sweetie if one can't get no buster and tambourine not buy none. That big on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are certain people in this land that one we suffer.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to suffer, you know, because guess what? We are going to unite with love.
Mm-hmm.
We have some old people who used to walk and tell people, call the people, them generation of Viper. No, then thought Viper, them call police for the world. We are going to turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
You are the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
All on, anyway, on that. Call themselves light of the world. And not only that, we're not salt of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So speak to each other with love, and the words that you speak to each other, let it live in them.
Mm-hmm.
So that
yes,
even your enemy won't be like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my message to all of them.
Well said, my sister. Well said, my sister. We're going to win.
We're going to win this battle.
Yeah.
You understand? And tell Shepherd, you know, say, Queen Mother, Mariam Samad, tell me, say, who no left foreign people and then dollar? Make them turn with the because you take it this way and then take it back the other way. We don't want no more death out here. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's what Queen Mother tell me. Left them with them dollar, make cars and dollar, make the whole world a holler.
Mm-hmm. When you said tell Shepherd, who's Shepherd?
I'm in Shepherd, man.
Oh, what you want to tell, Prof?
She said, Queen Mother said she left the reparation business.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, you're talking about reparations. Okay, I just see.
So Queen Mother
well, I would have to tell myself that too because I have no intention of leaving the reparations business.
She said.
So if Vereen would consider me a hypocrite if I tell her that and don't tell myself that.
Well, the Queen Mother says, let them keep them dollar.
Well, listen.
Because then give this way, then take it back another way. We don't want no more with it.
Well, listen, you know, we have a work to do, you know, and everybody have them purpose. So if reparations are not your business, then good. But
anyway, me just give the message as me to get it pass.
Well, there you go.
I try to find out, I can't find out. So
well, okay.
talk so.
Well, but then why you not tell me? Why you telling Vereen? I mean, I am one of those persons who advocate for reparations. Why Vereen and not me? Tell me to my face.
Well, no, I never even realized that you advocate for her, no.
I have been advocating for reparations. I'm 19 or when. Stop it. But anyway, I get the point you're making. There's some people who prefer. There's some people who prefer not to, you know, have this reparation conversation because it look like it's begging. But we're not begging nobody nothing. Somebody commit a crime, and we demanding that them pay for the crime. That's basically
them appear.
Which part?
The other day when the prisoner was supposed to come here and we decided we don't want here.
How was that paying?
Listen now. Them they don't want you to pay with. But listen to me. You know where the Queen though? She sent for the Chinese man.
Which Chinese man?
When they discuss, I don't know, but why you send for him?
Which Chinese
man?
They
have big meeting.
Which Chinese
man? The president of China.
Oh, which Queen?
Him the Queen sent for.
You mean the Queen who is dead?
Yeah, the one who dead.
Oh.
Maybe she didn't know, so she got dead. So she set them power we out here.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Well, let me tell them. I'm going to tell them now. Now tell the president of China. I'm going to take back on the people one for me now, please. Well, we don't want no more that out.
I don't.
We're not creating
so hold on, you know. We have to be very careful, you know. We have to be very careful. You see, There is China, the state, and there's the Chinese people. And I've been at pains in this space over the years to say, we have nothing against the people. As a matter of fact, one of the things that Jamaica has is that we've had Chinese people on this island for going back many, many years, long before emancipation and so on. As a matter of fact, a lot of us can put up our hands and say, oh, my great-great-grandfather was Chinese, or my great-grandfather was Chinese. Go ahead and I'll finish this conversation. I have to finish this conversation. You know why? Because we have been in this we have talked too much about this not to clear it up. We have nothing against the Chinese people. China, the state, we also have nothing against. I'm going to explain to you what is happening here. China is on the rise in terms of its politics and its economics and its wealth, and it's becoming, if not now, a great superpower. It is a great superpower. It's a superpower to reckon with. We have the United States, who is losing out to China right now in terms of who is the greatest superpower. So China is emerging as the greatest superpower. So China is doing what China does. But China has entered into agreements with many countries, including Jamaica, countries on the continent of Africa. Our contention has always been China needs us. The state, China, needs us for its expansion. This is Chinese expansionism. We see it happening all over. China needs us. There's nothing wrong with entering into agreements with different nations. Nothing at all. But from when and where do you enter? What do you carry to the negotiating table? Are you a beggar, or are you an equal partner, or are you not a nearly equal partner? What does China want from you? Does China need it badly enough so that you can leverage this relationship? And so over the years we have been saying Jamaica has the power to leverage its relationship with China. And we have taken you through all the processes with my brother Kwame Pianke and others, even from China itself, over the years, as to how this could be done. We have reached out to, remember the first big negotiating document, trade deal or whatever it was, giving away of Jamaica, with China was signed by the Portia Simpson Miller administration. She even went to China. We went through access to information to find out what was signed off on. Access to information, them dragged them feet until they just didn't send it to us. That took so long, and I think all in the process of that I went overseas and studied and come back and all kinds of story. But we just never got that information. One thing came out though later on is that part of what they signed off on was that China would be China would be building roads, and Jamaica in turn would provide China with lands. The lands, we were told, were in St. Catherine. Later on, China looked at the land in St. Catherine, do an aerial survey of the land in St. Anne, and said, we don't want the land in St. Catherine, we want the Roaring River property. And we spent 5 years bawling, tearing out we hair, laying down on the ground and kicking up a foot, demonstrating. We walked from Roaring River to Ocho Rios with the signs in our hands. We asked Portia Simpson Miller to come on this program. She agreed that she would come. And the night before the interview, we got a call from her people to say that she wouldn't come. And we tried over many moons to have these conversations to say, Roaring River is a watershed. You cannot give it to China. There are other ways to leverage this relationship. Now, what was the last thing we're hearing? China, now, we were told by the minister at the time, Omar Davies, that the Roaring River would not be touched at all. They would be going east or west of the Roaring River or some foolishness like that. Now, what do we have? The Roaring River is literally gone. We hear from Jabem that China has permission, China Harbor, to change the course of the Roaring River. Do you know what that means for the long term? What access to drinking water, access to potable water for the people of Jamaica? Do you know how we did many programs to show you the area served by the Roaring River? And if it is touched, we spoke to the experts, the technocrats. This went on for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. But here we are. Here we are. So the point I'm making is Chinese people have been in this country for a very long time, and we have no problem with them. We go to school with them. We get along with them. Some of them are our best friends. We don't have no problem with Chinese people. What we have a problem with, and we don't have no problem with China. Let me underscore that. What we have a problem with is that our governments became lackeys. China's white paper said that, listen, this is going to be a win-win for China and a win for the country we're negotiating with. So China knew all along that it was going to be a win-win for itself. This is how they were going into Africa. This is how they were going into the Caribbean. They were using the Angola model. I don't have to come back to the Angola model, do I? But the bottom line of all of it is that our nations were so greedy and so short-sighted and lacked vision, and you don't know what a good book say. Well, we all quote, right? So here we are, where there was no vision. There was short-sightedness. There was a sellout, Jamaica for sale. There was a sellout of this land to China. China never do that. It was our own people who did it. It was our own people who did it. So I am not going to allow anyone, anytime at all, to disparage the Chinese people for what our own governments, both of them, have done in terms of just giving away the entire Jamaica. Right now, we have all of the plastic things them coming into the island from Jamaica. They replaced everything that our people were making. We knew that that was going to happen, because we saw that in the Angola. Let me take a break. Clay. Hotep, good morning. Yes, greetings. Yes, how you do?
Yes, first time caller, but long time listener.
All right, welcome, Akwaba.
Well, Kabu, I want to tell you something, man. I don't know how we could do with without their program. No, there are so many things that you speak about that I have been tasked.
Yes.
More than 100%.
Yes.
So, let us look at where our country.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot say what we should be looking at to grow this country. It's like the government ignores it altogether.
Mm-hmm.
For agriculture.
Yes.
No.
Did we lose you?
Small young people can go. I keep on advocating for them and get some money to borrow to establish a reasonable farm. We not talk about something where you give somebody 125 chickens. And you give them chemical minor things. To me, it don't work.
Mm-hmm.
What I am looking at is, do we have a government that are prepared to walk the road that, for example, the late Michael Manley or even Edward Diaga walk?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not seeing it. And the only way forward, because one, they have been divesting everything, and the divestment is not in favor of Jamaicans.
That is true.
Most of the divestments are going into foreign enterprise
and foreign banks.
And let me tell you, I can remember when you were standing up for the people in Pothole, when they were moving them from right across from
Fisherman's Beach, yes.
Yes. And I'm going to talk to Monday, Christmas Day. Wednesday, I was in Montego Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I travel along the North Coast and I see where I used to live, across from where I used to live, I am sure. It's a hotel near Rio.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can go to that beach anymore. It's been taken away from the people.
No,
Wednesday, you know why I went to the beach? One of my friend's sister, he has a apartment over by Cinnamon Hill Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Palmyra Hotel.
Yes.
And I went there because she invited us over for dinner.
Yes.
The average man cannot afford nothing there.
I know. And the average man cannot access a beach. And I tell you something, you see that beach, that whole stretch of road is there, so me learn to drive.
Let me tell you.
I used to just leave work on a Sunday and go right at that Panda stretch of beach and me learn to drive. It's an interest, the road above the beach.
They give us a beach named Harmony Park. When you go there, the amount that's where they stuck us. We are all stuck one place.
Right.
And you don't have a choice. Where else are you going to go?
No, you're supposed to wallow in one little water like hogs. This is basically what they have reduced us to, because I've witnessed this, that Jamaican people are all flocking to the beaches on holidays and so on. But because of a lack of access, they are all wallowing in one little stretch of beach, and it becomes muddy at the end of the day. The nice blue water just get muddy because people are crowding into that one space. It is what has happened to us, and what is happening to us is egregious. It is terrible. It is wrong. From every single angle, this is wrong.
You know, when I listen some of the time, because I try to keep myself as current as I can.
Yes, you have 30 seconds, yeah.
Okay. They have a hotel that is on where Canal Beach used to be, near
all right, so listen, you have to come back. We're totally all the time. We're going into the Supreme Ventures draw. But I get the point you're making. No access. This is basically
no access. That's one. But the next one, I'm asking, what is the government doing for agriculture? The only way forward right now is for us to
the agriculture
ministry put some money into the Ministry of Agriculture so young people can get money to access.
Let me go.
Because the only thing you have left for us is also byproduct where people can set up factories.
Very good question. Very good points. Thank you so much. I'll return to them later on. Thank you so much. All right. Listen up. Top Draw Durham. This is Running Africa. And taking your telephone calls this morning, though, as we go back to the phone lines, because this caller has been holding for quite a while, and I don't know if the caller is still there. Hotep?
Morning, Kabu.
You've been holding for a while. Good morning.
Well, very long while. I was told it was 2 callers before me when I called, and then a whole heap.
I'm so sorry. And then you held through. Anyway, we could talk because you held.
Yeah, man. It is important.
Yes,
I wanted to talk to you this morning.
Yes.
But I heard one of the callers telling you that we must forget about reparation. We can't.
No.
We can't forget about reparation. A wrong was done to our foreparents and put us in a position where we are struggling. And the people who enslaved our foreparents and brought them to Jamaica from our motherland, they got paid. And therefore, the $6 trillion that it is valued at, we must get it.
Yeah.
But you know what I think, Kabu? Jamaica is now governed by quote-unquote Jamaicans, even with a myopic view on life. But we must start with land reparation. And I've been making this call for quite a few years now.
Yes.
That the Jamaican government must start hand out what is called the Crown land.
Yes.
Which is the land that the Spaniard stole from the Taínos and the British stole from the Spaniard, and them call it Crown land. We must now start issuing
and this is why people are jaded and there's apathy with the reparations, the National Council on Reparations and possibly CARICOM Reparations Commission. There's a reason for that, because internal reparations would begin to at least show people that movements are being made.
Yes.
And every single country within the Caribbean region, those who are calling for reparations, there are issues there that they can deal with as part of the internal reparations, which is, as you said, first of all, make lands available, every single piece of Crown land to the people.
We have our people living on Crown land and calling them squatters.
Yes.
Cut up the land and get to the people, put in the infrastructure. Even if you want to charge a little money to regain what it costs you to put in road, light and water.
And I
give
would,
it to the people.
Yes, and I wouldn't even disagree with that. Point is that there's so many who are landless and homeless, and you cannot claim independence if you're landless and homeless.
And
no
then now, Kabu, if we're talking about agriculture,
yes,
our people need land to farm. A man can't farm and make money off of 2 square land.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of idle land in Jamaica. And Michael Manley had said one time, put idle lands into idle hands.
Yeah.
and I watched this government squander $11.4 billion earlier this year in what they call a tax give back. Why was that not invested in agriculture?
It's patronage. What I'm noticing with this particular administration is that patronage is a go-to for them, where they see themselves as the parents of the people, and so they give handouts, and every time somebody get a house, it is on TV, and every time somebody get
one house.
Yeah, one house. So every time I see it, I am shocked, I'm flabbergasted because
and then they tell us that they don't believe in handout.
Yeah, it's patronage, doing it. It's condescending,
of course,
and patronizing.
And I tell you something, Kabu, that $11.4 billion, I'm so upset about it. Because when you give a man $20,000 now, Kabu, what am I going to do with it?
People are happy for it, A lot of people call me about it, People are very happy for it, and I understand because you drive the people into so much poverty that $20,000 seem like a lot to them.
But I'm sure everybody will get it finished already.
Of course, it finished already. What can it do?
And you invest that in agriculture.
Do you know how much will I do now? Sorry.
Kabu.
Go ahead.
Kabu.
Go ahead, my brother.
We are spending over 1.2 billion US to import food into this country. You know what $11.4 billion could do to our farmers to cut that importation bill, Kabu?
Yes.
We have to start growing this economy,
Yes.
We can't continue to borrow our way out of debt. It no work.
But
borrow
they
from
tell you,
Peter to PayPal can't work.
Right. They do not talk about the debt, and the national debt and the extent to which Jamaica is indebted up to its drowning in debt. What they tell you that the economy is growing, and this don't make a lot of sense. But
and that's why I hold this morning, because I said I want to call it, because a lot of people don't understand that Jamaica in another, how much days left for the year end?
What?
3? In another 3, in another 3 days, Jamaica will be in a recession, because the economy stopped growth and has been declining. The last quarter we declined by 2.8%, and this quarter we're going to decline by 1.2%. And 2 quarters of decline equals a recession. Sufferation are going to start coming.
So why are you talking so different from Nigel Clark? You're better than Nigel?
No, man, Nigel is a con man. Nigel, and that's why Nigel running up. Because the whole thing are tear down. Because when you continue to pay the debt more than you need to pay, and leave the infrastructure of the country to deteriorate the way it has deteriorated, problem must come. I am
also of the view that I would say, I'm of the view that him run one thing, and the other thing I think also is that it was always meant to be this way to some extent for him, which is it was a stepping stone. It was a plan from Mr. Bangarang from the thing that came in from the World Trade. What was it? The World Bank.
IMF.
Remember when Mr. Banga came in from the World Bank? The head of the Indian man who's the head of the World Bank. No, remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember his visit to Jamaica?
Yes.
Do you know why he came?
No.
Well, nobody know. All we know is that the next thing we saw was that Nigel is going to the IMF, and if you look at Mr. Banga's CV and in bio, you will see that relationship. There is a relationship that is not hiding from anybody. And there is even a wider relationship not hiding that. I'm not going to peddle anything this morning, but we must understand exactly what happened there when Bangarang came into Jamaica and what the process was that finally led to him going to the IMF. I'm connecting a lot of things that we need to connect. Whole heap of other things, but I'm not going to do it this morning.
But, Kabu, I lost respect for Nigel based on that. Nigel wasn't the only Jamaican who was offered job by the IMF in the same capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Omar Davis was offered twice, and he turned it down because how can you be the Minister of Finance? I mean, yes, it's more money at the IMF, but it's not as prestigious as the Minister of Finance for your country.
Yes, but he has written a book. He's written a book, and he's turned up in Kenya. And why did he go to Kenya? That's another. Listen up. He wasn't. But you know why he was there? It is such an egregious action on the part of the IMF. Those who went into Kenya to ensure that Kenya, they went to put their boots on the neck of Kenya, to ensure that Kenya would not take any more loans from any other institution outside of the Bretton Woods institution. That was why the IMF was in Kenya.
And that Kenya would pay as they want. And Nigel is the man who pay more than you're supposed to. So he's going to teach them how to pay more than you're supposed to pay.
It's a very serious situation. But I hear you saying that Jamaica is on the brink of recession.
Yes, in 3 days we are going to be in a recession. Well, officially. In fact, technically we are now in a recession. But we are going to be. The reason why I called you this morning, though, Kabu, is how we're going to move forward. Because we know the problem. Yes. And most of the times we don't hear the solution.
Yes.
So, as I said to you a while ago, we have to now start invest seriously in agriculture, not just for export, but to feed ourselves.
Yes.
What we should have learned from the COVID-19 pandemic, it didn't seem like we learned it. Because when COVID came in and shipments start get expensive, they used to pay $2,000 for a container. It got to $20,000. The ship weren't coming. We should have seen that food security would be a problem, and more of these kind of pandemic will be coming. And
so
why do you
think that no plans were put in place, and why do you think it appears as if they didn't see that there was a threat to Jamaica's food security?
In April 2020, April 14, I made a post on Facebook, Kabu, saying that the government should invest $1.4 billion in agriculture now that the pandemic has hit us to shore up our food security. Nothing has been done. Look at Beryl. We have $6 billion worth of damage in Beryl, and the government has put back $1.4 billion.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know if you have been looking at any other trade deals. I haven't. But one thing I know, just generally speaking, looking at in a broader context, is that these trade deals that are signed, whether they're bilateral or otherwise, that are signed between Jamaica and, say, the United States in particular, and also with the European Union, is that there among the within the fine print is the assurance from Jamaica, mandatory at least, that Jamaica has to import a certain amount from all of the European Union countries plus the United States. And then also to say that there is a caveat that Jamaica also cannot grow certain things that you're going to import. So do you think that there is... Our leaders are posturing as if they are in charge, but really and truly they are enslaved to these trade deals that they've signed, and so cannot do what it is that we're talking about, which is large-scale farming, growing your own, manufacturing, taking care of the health sector. Because to me, the neoliberal project does not allow for it.
You see, and that's why we need strong leadership, Kabu. That's why we have to have leaders with integrity, leaders who can stand on their feet and not go on their knees and beg. Because when these big countries make these deals, they make them to benefit themselves. America don't want anybody to plant food, They want us to buy all the food from them.
And to buy it from Bill Gates, and Bill Gates is using dead people flesh to make meat.
And if we don't understand that and start standing on our own, then we have a mad dash to the ground coming, because we are falling as a nation.
So how do you get around it? Because to me it is already in train. So how do you get around this?
How do we get around it, Kabu, is that we need to start export more. But what is it that we can export? It's not agriculture.
What is it?
What is it that we can export, Kabu, is what you and I are involved in. Culture and the creative industry. Culture is Jamaica's oil. When I say that, a whole heap of people turn up their eye and look for me. Culture is a product. We need to start package Jamaica's culture and export it to the world. The world craves our culture. The culture and the creative industry, Kabu, globally is valued at over $3.4 trillion US annually.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica is earning about 0.004% of that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look to earn at least 1% of the culture and the creative industry.
Give us an example of a country, a nation that is doing that Jamaica can emulate.
Nigeria is earning $50 billion US annually. In Latin America and the Caribbean, Mexico is the biggest earner from culture and the creative industry. They are earning $15 billion US, we're talking about, annually. America earns over $700 billion annually from the culture and the creative industry. India, they are earning $120 billion. The UK is earning 125 billion pounds from the culture and the creative industry. Our culture and creative industry has been left to stand on its own. No government to date.
And hijacked. Because if you look at what Thailand has done with the Jamaican culture is phenomenal. In that they are making so much money off the red, green, and gold, and just the word Rastafari.
Look what Korea has done with K-pop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
and K-drama, of course, and K-drama. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. So we as a country have left our creatives to fend for themselves, and they are still bringing in US dollars to this country. This government, and you must give them a little credit, has put $1 billion into the film industry. However, I don't know how much people have gotten any of that thus far. So we know
just need to ask you which part it there.
My information tells me that nobody not really getting an idea.
Maybe ask Michael if you know which in there. Michael Holgate, know which Michael, get a name?
They have made it so difficult for people to get it.
Yeah.
But what we need is a government that will also start opening the doors abroad. Because you know what, Kabu?
Yeah.
We are importing over 30 billion Jamaican dollars annually of culture, you know? Importing culture from abroad into this country, costing us over $30 billion.
Importing culture, annually, consuming culture, changing culture.
We're paying for it, and we're not exporting what it is that, people come to Jamaica for the culture. We will not be able to bring everybody to Jamaica, but we can bring the culture to everybody around the world.
So let's talk about people coming to Jamaica for the culture, because the current model, Jamaica's tourism model, which understands that people are coming into Jamaica for the culture. Those who have hijacked the Jamaican culture have also ensured that the culture the people who come can access a whitewash version, literally whitewash version of the Jamaican culture within the all-inclusive model.
And not just whitewash, Kabu. I was in an all-inclusive hotel last weekend with my mother for her birthday. And when we went to the theater to watch the performance, it was totally foreign. And when they came off the stage and I tried to engage one of the actors, she said, "Me no speak English."
So if we
don't careful, they are going to kill our culture too. Because when people come to Jamaica now, they're not getting, you call it whitewash, they're not getting it.
They're not getting it at all.
They're not getting it at all. And we now have to be serious about this culture that we have that is valued so much that we're not making the money from. And that's like Bob Marley saying, the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. And that's why we're sitting here struggling and wondering, how is it that we're not making money? And we have the things that people crave. And along the Rasta money that tell us to free up ganja, Kabu. Until now, we can't even compete in the cannabis market no more.
And not only that, Rastafari has been totally locked out. Yeah. Competing is one thing, but Rastafari has been locked out. Locked up and locked out. Yes.
How can we do that?
How did we get to this space? We must ask Mr. Mark Golding. Because he was heading that whole process for a very long time. I know that at a point, the party that he was the PNP lost the election, but he had set the groundwork.
But so these people have changed it, Kabu. You know that the Cannabis Authority, I think, have in the last 8 years, them have over 5 different leadership. So they don't know what it is that they want to go. They don't have a clear destination. And if you don't have a clear destination, you end up anywhere. So we are hoping that with a new direction, under Mark Golding getting reins of government, then we can see the direction that he was looking at for the cannabis product in Jamaica. But Kabu, if we don't start seriously looking at culture and the creative industry, because that is the industry that we can compete with any country.
I am agreeing with you on it. I'm agreeing with you. Also sports, I think.
Sports is a part of the creative industry.
Of the creative industry, it's true.
Education is a part. Gastronomy, food is a part of the creative industry.
I cannot disagree with anything that you have said there.
And the performing arts, all of that. We need to now start get serious.
I think it's ready-made.
Infrastructure. We need to develop that platform on which we will be using to export this culture. And Kabu, I should have tell you from the start, I'm the Deputy Shadow Minister of Culture and the Creative Industry.
So who is? Who may I talk to?
My name is Colin Bell.
Colin Bell. Well, listen, I'm glad you never tell me from the start. Because, you know why? Because when I treat you as a PNP, and I never want to treat you as a PNP, and so I'm glad that you did. Because I agree, there's nothing you've said there that I've disagreed with, and this is not a PNP or a JLP position.
And if I told you that I was a PNP from the start, you'd have maybe
I would put me on the back foot. Yes, of course, but I deal with your hostile witness. No, but it's true.
But truth is truth.
Yeah,
truth is truth.
Yeah.
And as I said, no former government, whether PNP or GLP, has really looked at the culture and the creative industry the way it should have been.
Yes.
And I think we miss a whole heap of boat
as
it relates to the culture.
I'm going to invite you in the studio very soon. And me and you have the same, we family have the same slave master name, which is Bell.
All right.
And so that means that we most likely probably blood related. But anyway, so I'll invite you in the studio. I don't know what you look like. I've never had a conversation with you before. So I'm gonna Google you now to see what you look like.
Yeah, man. I am easy to find.
Yeah. All right. No, but on a serious note, you have said something here.
I'm the person who do the Jerk Festival as well, the Boston Jerk Festival.
Oh, the Boston Jerk Festival. So is it on this year?
No, man, we did it this year already.
Okay,
so
when was it?
Next year.
When was it?
It was July 14th.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that. All right, and you've been doing it for years, right?
For years, yes.
Right, true. Okay, yes. So I know you. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Colin Bell, and I'd like for you to come in the studio. Yeah,
I will at your beck and call. But keep on doing the good work that you are doing, opening the eyes of the Jamaican people, because the myopic view of our leaders are killing us.
It is true.
We need to look further than
on both sides.
On both sides.
Yes.
On both sides, Kabu, we have failed.
Yeah.
We have failed our people.
Are you in Portland? Portland, because the Jerk Festival is in Portland.
Man, I live in Portland.
Which constituency? Which constituency?
Eastern Portland.
So is Chingda in East?
Isaac Buchanan. I was the candidate before Isaac.
Oh, you were the candidate before Isaac. Well, yeah. I hope that you're looking at what's happening with the beaches in Portland, and especially with the Blue Lagoon.
We're looking at all of that.
All right.
We're looking at all of that because Portland is the most beautiful parish in Jamaica.
It is.
And we want to really see Portland achieve its true potential. Yeah. I mean, remember the cruise shipping business in Jamaica started right here in Port Antonio. Mm-hmm. And right now we don't have any share of that. We want to get back a place into that as well. Because, I mean...
one ship come in the other day.
One big yacht.
Oh, it's a big yacht.
That's what I call it. We need the East Harbour to develop, Kabu, that we can accommodate the mega liners, because Portland, as any one parish, we have the most natural attraction in Jamaica, but because of a lack of visitors, those are underdeveloped. We're also looking at the Navy Island, Kabu, where the vision is to build a world reggae park on Navy Island. Something for reggae. You have the Walk of Fame in California.
Yeah.
We want a reggae park in Jamaica on Navy Island. Navy Island is 78 acres of land, and I believe that we can build that out.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I think it's a brilliant idea. Thank you so much, my brother. We're totally out of time, but we'll keep in touch. Thank you so much.
One love, yeah.
And how this is the very epitome of the decadent, vulgar economy a nation, Cuba under Batista, that decadence that led to the Cuban Revolution. This is exactly what Jamaica and where Jamaica is heading. So it says 18 private jets flying into Montego Bay last Monday alone. Jamaica continues to build on its strong growing allure as a high-end destination, according to senior advisor and strategist in the Ministry of Tourism, Delana Seavright. From luxurious villas to renowned hotels to rustic lodgings, Jamaica is hosting Hollywood stars, celebrated entertainers, TV personality, at least one former prominent world leader, other high-ranking politicians from the U.S. and other nations, and some global tycoons. This he said in a release last Saturday. Now, I want you to go back to find any press release coming out of the vulgar, despotic, authoritarian, decadent society that Batista headed up, that led to the Cuban Revolution, and see if this is not read in the very same way. We're at a crossroads, but this is a serious crossroad, a pure collision or guania. So, I mean, DJ. Let me take a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, greetings. All right, we're taking your telephone call. Sorry, our callers have been holding for a while. But can you imagine? This is what Jamaica is boasting. High-end tourism, a high-end destination, while the people starve. And this is why they talk about prosperity, you know. This is what they mean by prosperity. This is exactly what it looks like. It is for the 1%, but it is a Cuba under Batista. We have the blueprint for where it's heading. Let me go to the phone lines. I am Che Guevara. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kabu.
Greetings, my brother.
And good morning to your listeners, them also.
Yes.
Yeah, Ms. Kabu, I have two local problems. The first one now, I did write a letter about agriculture.
Yes.
And I structured it in a way where, you know, it would have benefit every Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I did send it to I didn't send it, I carry it myself to Jamaica House.
Mm-hmm.
And give it to the secretary at the front.
Did you get a response?
No, I didn't get a response, and I don't see any action where it is concerned.
They should have at least responded to you. You don't know if it reached. Who you wrote it to?
To the Prime Minister himself. His present Prime Minister.
You don't know if him get it?
Well, I try my best and I carry it as far as possible.
I don't think him get it.
And no, when I go say why not, Miss Kabu, trust me, because no, if him not get it, simply means say the people them who is with him, like him secretary, such like
that is how these
things
not
with him.
This is how these things work.
And if them is not with him, no, me not go
because you never go up there in a silk suit.
And a jacket and tie. I chew your dark still. And no, them like them throw that aside.
Discrimination against our own people, discriminate against you by just looking at us, you know.
Yeah.
This is what we need to understand, you know. Then judge we, you know, just look on we and judge we, and they're no different from us, you know. It's just that they might be working in a different space, and then probably can afford silk suits. This is our condition.
And you might have Rasta too, you know. And
hello. You don't, him don't get it. The Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Holness, but there's a brethren who wrote a letter, sir. Re-agriculture. When you carry it up there?
I think approximately 6 years ago.
Then Lord have mercy, man. He never get it. But look, you know, I'll tell you something. I would, you know, well, I'll talk to the Prime Minister on your behalf. Mr. Andrew, there is a gentleman here who have an understanding of what can happen with agriculture. He wants to engage you with it. He has already written a letter, which I am thinking that you'd never get it, because we know how these things work. And how are you going to get the next one to him? Who you going to take it to?
Mr. Kabu, to tell you the truth, still, you know, I'm not too interested to write no more, you know, to him, you know.
Then where you call me for? Where you coming for?
Well, I know if me I write anymore, I must wear not different government in a office. Trust me.
But give him the benefit of the doubt. Him never get it.
So I should write another one?
Yes, I think so, because you write the first one, but I guarantee you, listen, I know I can't guarantee you, but I'm almost certain that him never get it. Him not get it. You not get it.
All right.
And did you type it out or did you write it by hand, pen?
I get it type.
Right. How much pages did it have?
I think it's approximately 3 pages.
Yeah, you not get it.
And the police, them at the gate really give me the address, or me the address, because from my home I didn't put any address on it.
Oh, that's why I never write you back.
No, when I reach at the gate at Jamaica House, the police, them, when I show them the letter, then say, no, it doesn't address. It was one of the police officers who lend me a pen to write the address on it.
Yeah. Well, 6 years ago, but you think the points are still relevant? Do you want to share them in this space?
Yeah, because, all right, Mr. Kabu, I never did really go into it, the letter still. I can't go into it. Mm-hmm. That's not going into it no, just for you.
Yeah. But
I structured it in a way where now.
Remember, said me alone and listen,
Firstly, yeah, make sure. Firstly, the Jamaican government could have, and right now the thing say to the amount of partner right over the world where Jamaica have. When I say partner, the biological countries them, and make sure say all of them willing to help Jamaica.
For the what?
Where agriculture is concerned.
Okay, help in what way?
All right. See, if the Prime Minister himself does not ask for help, I don't expect him to get help. Firstly, how me really write it is that now he would have got to the other president and prime ministers them and try to beg.
Beg what? No one them no write it back. Maybe you get your write it back. I tell him to go beg. So beg what?
Equipment, okay. Equipment like tractor, such like, etc. To go through the land, make farm road, and now the government of Jamaica would have really come in with the people them in good collaboration with the people them in Jamaica.
But the government of Jamaica, the government of Jamaica has this thing that they call public-private partnerships, and this is what they do with the private sector. And one would think that if they are in need of stuff like that, which I don't know. There can be arrangements made between them and the private sector, just like how them arrange everything else with the private sector.
Yeah, and at the same time now, we see now for farm, for logically farm, the tractor them go through and dig hole or make them rows, yeah, and now we with the children them we not talk about third farm children. From fourth farm up, would plant the food them in the earth, and now the same government now would get the engineer them to build the factories them, and engineer to build dam in the river, see, and those dam would contain pipe that can send water to the farms.
And that's a very good point, you know. I remember having a conversation.
And to people. Yes. And the whole of Kabu, the CM dam could build current to run the factories. And we could use solar energy to run the factories. We don't need no oil and such like. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And now we could export the surplus of the food them where we reap from the farm, and process food, just like we see them process cheese, such like.
Yes, and we have the resources. We have the mango, for example, is something that we see over the years, where especially in some parishes, you literally mango a stone dog. And that happens. Them just fall off of the tree and just and this happens all across Jamaica.
All across Jamaica.
What?
True.
Yes.
And every country loves Jamaica things.
As Colin Bell was saying earlier, and food, of course, he did say part of the culture. My brother, thank you so much. Good points. Thank you so much. All right. Apart from the begging part, I don't agree with the begging part.
No. But when I say the reason why I say where that is concerned,
yeah,
is because me not expect them to go really buy so much, because we would have need approximately 28 to say 35.
Yeah, man,
piece of equipment.
No, then could I get it right? Enough corruption in Jamaica, man. They just need to clean up. If them clean up one part, if them clean up one part of the corruption, them have more money more they can buy.
Please, let me get a second part.
Yes.
I'm a worker with the forestry department.
Yes.
Yeah, and Miss Kabu, it's terribly wicked. Me have one youth to send gas school, and me say me can't afford it. Me can't afford the little one youth to send gas school. Me not no bill I pay, not farmer bill, and me can't afford, because guess what, no, Miss Kabu, 1 or 2 day a week, and the 2 day at 3,500 a day. And a 1 or 2 day a week. Sometimes for 2-3 weeks when I work. Sometimes for a month when I work. Sometimes for 3 months when I work. All the youth go to school. $5,000 at $5,000 for a week. I make enough time, Miss Kabu, I can't find the $5,000 to give in front of me. That's what I say. Yes. I'm here work with the government.
Yes.
Then come and burial mash up my house. And from July, 2 times then come on my place. The 3rd time when they come there, then see little boy alone and question him. He must tell him, say me have work. But the work, Miss Kabu, me tell you about the work. $3,000 a day and sometimes 1 day a week. Terrible. Real terrible, Miss Kabu.
Dread. Me hear it. Me understand.
As Mr. Colin Bello, that's a one love.
One love. My brother. All right. So we have a work for do. Give thanks, my brother.
Yes, Miss Kabu.
All the best. Hold straight. We take your calls on to 10. There can be no peace of mind if there's no peace in the belly. And agriculture, I think, is going to be the defining factor for us. We can't underscore that enough. And this includes water you can drink. What is coming is going to be terrible, because we are so dependent on imported food. Imported everything. If you go into the supermarket, almost 99% of everything imported. Even when you go to the market, enough things are come from overseas, because enough ground food are come from overseas. This is a danger of it all. We're smiling, but it is a kind of a kin-teeth, kiba heartburn situation. Let me go to the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, my sister.
Yes, greetings, my brother. How you doing?
Yes, I'm here, I'm still on the farm because I can't leave that.
Of course.
But one of the things that I really want to talk about, is that how our people have become so weak. And I was looking at the vaccination program that they have, whereby you're mandated to take these vaccines, or else you can't go to school, you can't go to this. And I have a problem when somebody mandated to do something. It's like blackmailing you. It's not like blackmailing, it's definitely blackmailing you. And I am wondering if it's a change of a DNA in our people, why we become so weak. Because we can't stand up for anything. What happened to the descendants of Nani, the descendants of Paul Bogle? We have none of those rebellious set of people. One time I remember, not too long ago, it was under the Bruce Bolden administration that the people became so weak, because as soon as they start a lot of foolishness, the people would shut down the country. You remember there was years, my sister?
When you had a lot of demonstrations?
We would have them, we used to call it a general strike, when everybody would just look. We take into the streets.
Yes.
Now, I recall there was a situation where they want to put a 50% tax on the gasoline, fuel in general. And they wanted to, the people wanted to go and shut down the country again.
Mm-hmm.
And they were threatened by the force, because I remember precisely he said that, I'm not telling anybody not to go out and demonstrate.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the army and we have the police force, and we will definitely use them to do whatever they ought to do. And the people just fall into that threat and become so weak. I say this to say, my sister, I actually was thinking that entering into the line of politics and do some of the things you want to do would have made a difference. But when I realized what was in it, there was two things against me. The system is a system that is orchestrated and designed to have the people under their control.
That's
and
true.
anything good for the people, you're not going to get it.
Yes,
So,
and we have examples of people activists who have gone into politics who have lost their activism.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I did not lose mine, but I went into politics to make a change.
Yes.
And one of the things I was looking at, the bauxite company mined out the horrible lands that the farmer, and most of these communities, the people are totally depending on farming as a way of surviving.
Mm-hmm.
And they go in and they mine out these arable lands and leave barren lands for the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I was advocating with the people at the time that, look, we want to make a difference, we want to make a change. We want to hold these bauxite companies to commit themselves to replacing the livelihood of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was proposing at the time that you should use these reclaimed lands and put them into, since they can't do agriculture in terms of plants, use them to do livestock. And the company, with its commitment by the Bauxite Institute, who said they have money in the Bauxite Institute to develop whatever you want to develop in the community, I was proposing that they use that money to build a processing plant, because we were importing chicken parts, chicken legs, chicken breasts, chicken backs, and the hotel could not get 8-ounce chicken breasts at the time.
What happened?
So I figured that was a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Have a processing plant whereby you train the farmer, and the government should put some money into helping the people to get some houses for food for the animals like goats, pigs.
What happened? Why didn't they agree to that, or did they?
There is two colors in Jamaica right now.
Mm-hmm.
Orange and green. And that's why I leave politics, because if you wear one of that color, you're not going to get the unity from the people, because they can't see behind the orange and the green.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that really happened, what shook me, and I just left the whole political arena, because I was on the National Executive Council for 4 years. I brought 2 resolutions to the National Executive Council. One was how we can let every one of our students that pass through the high school go to a tertiary institution without any pressure or pain on the government or on the family.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell me it couldn't happen. When I put it in writing, they were astonished. Some of these big guys there, they were astonished. And it was there that it ended.
Mm-hmm.
It never get any further than that.
And this is why we have to look at this. That's why we talk about structural violence earlier now, because we have to look at the system. Sometimes we think that we are making choices, but we don't have as many choices as we think we have. And some of these choices we think we're making, they've already been made for us. The system is set in such a way to ensure that the masses of the Jamaican children are educated at a certain level, are not educated at a certain level, programmed at a certain level.
Yeah.
And the access to higher education and access to certain levels of education in terms of amount of people in classrooms, the materials that you have, the resources that you get, and so on, only available to a certain class. Because Jamaica is a very classist country. So all of these are part of the system. Part of the structural violence. Even
at that level, it is so expensive for you to get an education.
No, that's why it is that expensive, because it is structured for those who can afford it. It's structured for the 21 families and them friends.
Yes, but I'm looking at 2 things, Kabu. I'm looking at 2 things that bothers me every day,
whenever I see a man wearing locks and call himself a Rastaman, wearing a green shirt and defending the political party that is ever striving to beat down the Rastafarian from ever since, and it continues until today, I realize that people don't.
I'm not going to agree with you on that. I mean, outside of obviously you're probably referring to the Coral Gardens incident, right?
Yes.
The Coral Gardens massacre, and that was under the JLP government. But if you look at culture in Jamaica and what has been done for including Rastafari as a culture or as a liberty, that the most that has ever been done, and I've been in this business for a long time, is under the JLP government. So PNP talk, but them they really don't do nothing. And so,
no, I'm not defending any side, you know.
No, but so the Rastaman when I'm green shirt is living. I'm have to live too. So
Rastafarian should not take part in politics anymore.
Why not? But why not?
Because the two parties is the one that put in the opposition.
But what do you mean by take part in politics? You know, vote. I mean, Rastafari more than anybody else know the struggle of our ancestors who fought and died so that we can vote.
Okay, well, look at the other thing now. I'm looking at the second point now that I raised. You have, when I look at what is happening in Jamaica today, I'm not blaming the Prime Minister, because you have a system that put in place definitely for that purpose. For those who have the opportunity to be there and can elevate themselves, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, it happens on both sides, both political parties. You had your system, because I can recall a system that was put in place for us to be paying so many prime ministers was put in place by P.J. Patterson.
What system?
He put a system in place whereby the Prime Minister of today, the salary of the Prime Minister of today is the same salary that the past Prime Minister is getting.
But nobody never make no noise.
Nobody never say anything. And to know what I look
at... And they raised it by 200% the other day. So what are the numbers? What are the real numbers?
You understand?
And you compare that to the brethren who called me a while ago working with government, who getting $5,000 a week.
Okay. And look, when you look at it,
only working 2 days
people,
per week.
Kabu, why I'm saying, the bottom line is that we don't know ourselves. We are just following the system, going down with the system. Because when you look at this system now, the Prime Minister who left school, who in student loan, enter into politics, has become a billionaire, and there's nothing wrong with that. He uses the system to elevate himself, and he did what? Let me say he did what?
If the Prime Minister is going to become a billionaire, all are we supposed to be billionaire? You see,
the people who now depending this system and saying that, bro, God, this Mr. Andrew Holness is securing what Bob Marley sang about years ago, Not one of my seed shall stay on the sidewalk and beg your bread. That is the Prime Minister's mission. What is your mission who is supporting mission?
The Jamaican people, our backs probably not yet against the wall.
My brother would say earlier on, it's rub out on the wall already.
Look here, thank you for calling. I have to go have a break. But we have to talk solutions, just like Mr. Berry said. And at some point, and I know for me, and it has always been that way ever since I recognized the danger that we were walking towards. That agriculture.
The only solution is to start by feeding yourself and cutting down on some of the food stuff that we import,
including water. Yes. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. Yeah. I agree. Feeding ourselves, including water. Water is the most important of all. One of the most egregious things that the government of Jamaica is doing is taking the water from the people. Now that is death. The land and the water. People are being denied land and water. I don't have no time for no highfalutin conversation because we have no land and we have no water. Usual security checks. She was searched at the airport. But they also searched her hair. Her hair. She said she's never experienced this in Jamaica. And it's something that she's never experienced in her entire life. They searched her hair. So she's asking the question, have we gone back to the hair texture profiling in Jamaica? And if our hair is straightened, would they have searched her hair? She's boarding now, so not able to talk to us. But while she says she's not casting aspersions on the new operators at the airport, but this is something that she's noticing. We're going to follow up on that. Let me go to the phone lines. Greetings.
Hotep.
How are you doing?
Hotep, my sister, how are you?
I am well. If you two are well. Habarigani. Happy Kwanzaa to you too. Yes.
Yes, give thanks. This is Ras Andy.
Yes, Ras Andy.
Yes, we're at the fourth day now of Kwanzaa. Ujama Cooperative Economics. And this is something that we need to look seriously at as a people in Jamaica. And when I say as a people, I mean as Africans living in Jamaica.
Yes.
We have to get straight to the point because we have been celebrating our independence since 1962. And this year we celebrated 62 years. And what I'm hearing as a historian and as a social scientist is that we have not moved from 1962. The issues continues and they are getting even worse and worse. You're talking about a land, Jamaica, the land of wood and water, and the people have no access to land and water, Kabu, in 2024.
It's a very good question.
No, the point is that even though we gained independence in 1962, the mentality of those who have governed this country, they are still in 1962, a colonial mind, where you look at the people and you regard them as property. You regard them as if they do not have a sense of history, a sense of pride. And I hear from morning quite a number of your callers speaking, but what I want to stress, though, is that we as a people must be at the vanguard of what is happening. Because those who we think are at the vanguard, who we call government, they are literally not on our side. And I'm speaking about both governments. You understand? Because we speak about the red government, the orange government, and the green government in this country. And they have not served the people who, the majority of us are Africans, those of us who are the descendants of enslaved Africans. And until we, the true people of this country, take charge of the affairs of this country, then we will continue to experience the corruption, the lack of empathy towards the people.
Yes.
Because when you talk about education as a teacher, the system is, as you say, 99% geared towards failing the people. It's not a system that is geared towards... At least
it's a programming. It programs you to be a slave. And this is basically what we're faced with. Sooner we recognize that, I think the earlier we'll be able to free ourselves. First of all, we have to decolonize those spaces.
Our minds.
Yeah, decolonize our minds, decolonize those spaces, decolonize the curriculum. It's not hard to do. Not as hard as they're making it out to do.
Not as hard as, but so...
Well, you're a teacher. You tell me, I mean, obviously, teachers even teach... The curriculum is really not... For me, my understanding of the curriculum is that even while we wait for this overhauling of it and this decolonization of the curriculum, that individual teachers, in the same way that you carry other elements of yourself, whether it is Christianity or otherwise, to the space, that you can also carry elements of culture and history to religious education, to mathematics, because I notice now that they teach mathematics with Christian principles. What if you teach mathematics with, keep a Christian principle, you also teach mathematics with historical principles? What if you set maths in a history? It is possible. You can set...
It is possible. Yeah. And as you said, it will be dependent on the individual teacher and their background and perspective and their worldview.
Right, so we can begin there, but at the same time, there is a need to decolonize the curriculum now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so, Kabu, like your earlier caller, I am too fully in support of culture being the game changer. For Jamaica, the people must be the focus. No, don't hear the backside and the banana and the sugar cane. It is the human resources that we should invest in, and we have a culture or cultural expressions that are regarded as brand globally. And as the caller said, we can package our culture and take it to the world, as well as we can package our culture and the world comes to Jamaica, just as what is happening with a Rebel Salute, with a Sunfest. No, you have Intimate. These are good, cultural events that can pull people from across the world. But we need our government and the private sector, because I'm not into going to any country outside of Jamaica to beg anything. Jamaica is too blessed with so many A-standard products that we don't need to beg one country out of Jamaica to make us who we know we are as a people. When you talk about sports, when you talk about music, when you talk about fashion, when you talk about film, when you talk about all the cultural expressions that are regarded as A-class, Jamaicans are at the top of those.
Yes, and we're an island. No man is an island. Jamaica is an island. But there's nothing wrong with interactions and integrating and exchange, cultural exchanges and so on. And just to put that out there, to say I understand that not begging. I do not believe in this going around with the ball begging business.
No, we don't need to.
How you interact with each other as equal partners, I think, is where we need to find ourselves. But where we are now, so heavily indebted, this is one of the things that's setting us on the back foot, why we can't necessarily be equal partners with superpowers like China and so on. At the time when we should have been equal with China, at least in within the context that China had set for us, which was win-win for China and win for us. We didn't take that chance, and so that is already lost to us. In terms of where we go from here, though, that's a conundrum for me right now, because I understand, I hear what the Prime Minister is saying, I see how our people are responding to that, and I understand that it's going to be the same thinking going into 2025. But this is happening at a time when the world is changing. I mean, we have a global reset. This is a problem that we have. I do have to go, Andy. Thank you so much.
Yes, my sister. Hotep and all the best.
And to you too.
One love to the running African family.
Love to you too.
Globally.
All right, so Andrew says, I spent a decade as a funeral director in Scotland. On occasion, I had to facilitate prisoners to pay their respects and meet family. I got to talking to some of the guards and why they were so strict. Every rule has a reason, even to pregnant women giving birth in shackles, as once one lady ran. We, your friends here, someone somewhere set a precedent. We are a community. As a teacher punishes a class to flush the guilty. Oh, I see what you mean. Why we need to police ourselves or someone else will. Well, we look at the context of it. I hope to hear more from my sister friend, as to what really happened there and how it was done. As she said, she wasn't casting aspersions on the whole thing. She just wondered if this was a new policy and why those with other kinds of hair weren't searched, but she was searched. Her hair. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Our year has been pretty involved, and my programs are especially, for me, there's a whole other thing going on in the background that a lot of our listeners are not necessarily aware of, and that's the social media. There's a process that's happening on every social media platform. And some are monitoring on my phone, some are monitoring on the computer, some are coming to me directly, some are coming through IRFM. And it is just phenomenal over the years. And I want to thank that team. Some are on my WhatsApp for those who have my personal numbers. It is, you would be surprised to know what happens. Just as I work alone in terms of the studio, and my telephone operator who works on shift doubles up as a broadcast assistant, and I really appreciate them. Appreciate the telephone operators who work on shift over the years. Also want to say thanks to Shamara and Vivian and to the IRFM team who have always been there in the background, ensuring that we get the program off the ground and in the way that it should. On a Sunday morning. So much work goes on behind the scenes. So thank you to the telephone operators of the team. Thank you to Shamara Preston. Thank you to Vivian. Thank you to the entire IRFM team. Thank you so much to the programming department. Thank you so much, Clover, the program manager. Thank you to Debbie Ann Duwar, who is our managing director. The team always ensuring that this program goes off without a hitch, and we really appreciate you. Thank you so much to you. And to say, once again, to the social media team who are so actively engaged all the time, whether it is from correcting me, they know themselves, all the time, them and Donna. Morning, Donna Matters, all day. Hey, Omali, what here? I haven't seen you in 2 days, 2 weeks in terms of online, so I'm going to give you a link. I know you haven't been too well. I hope you're feeling much better now, Tia, my sister. But we are a family. Mama Fire, how you doing? I spoke to Mama Fire yesterday. And thank you, Rusty and Sister Audrey, for facilitating that call. She was out of the hospital and she just wanted me to say thanks to all of you on her behalf. Thank you, Sister P. Thank you to the team generally. Thank you to you for listening for the entire year, but not just for listening, for checking in. Thank you, K-Dot Ezekwe. Thank you, Moti. So much happens. Thank you, Devon Taylor. Our recurring guests who have come on from time to time, those we have developed partnerships with, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And I didn't want to start calling names I shouldn't have, because I really do have hundreds of names to call. So let me stop. And just to say, thanks to every one of you who have made this program what it's been for the many years, and specifically for the year that we're just exiting. I really, really appreciate you. I work alone, and then when I'm alone, I never feel alone because there's just so much happening outside of the program in terms of just the interaction. So I really want to thank you for that. It means a lot to me, actually. For the life of me, I cannot understand it. How do you think that is going to build a nation? You can't build a nation that way. What do you think you're building, a hut? Protection, of course. Free up the beach, them. Access to land, access to water, access to food, agriculture. And we have to strengthen our health system. Goodbye for today. 4 minutes ago, the Big A coming in shortly with the Sunday sunshine. Inshallah, I'll see you next year. I wish for you and yours really productive, successful, exciting, adventurous, everything that you want for 2025. Let us go into 2025 mindful, but let's take some time to meditate. Let's take some time to think about where we are and how we're moving from here. One of the things that we love to do is to make New Year's resolutions. When I really know New Year's resolution, these are being made for us. We now have to determine exactly how we're going to engage with a system that seems to be set against the people in the way that it is set against the people. We talk about structural violence. It is what it is. We have to determine how we're going to engage with that system, but not just to engage, how we're going to tear it down to build it back up. Take a rebellion or a revolution in the way of Che Guevara and them, then that is a process that would rather not have. I think this can be a peaceful change, but we all have to be on board with the paradigm shift. And we need to get over ourselves. Get over ourselves. We're talking government, right? I'm talking about the man in the silk suit. Biggie, you've noticed the silk suits, have you? That our leaders are now wearing silk suits.
Swimsuits?
Silk.
Oh, silk suits.
Silk suit, you don't notice it?
No, I haven't.
You don't notice? You don't notice?
I haven't been paying attention.
Okay. Especially those who work in the tourism industry.
What?
Yes. Biggie said, what? By the way, I need to say something, because last week I was teasing Biggie about reggae music, right? Biggie knows I was teasing him. So enough people who know me and Biggie know say I was teasing Biggie. Let me just say this outright, right? And I tend to do that from time to time. Me going back on it because enough people never realize I tease me a teaser. Some people think that me really did serious and you did serious, and we're having like a really, really serious conversation. It got serious at one point. That we had to go AI and so on, but really and truly, generally around the whole thing, it was just that kind of a stuff. So I needed to say that. And if you don't mind, I shot me tease him again this morning. So for most of the time, these talk at the end of the day, he deals with this, okay, most time. Biggie, are you going to stadium?
To
stadium.
Oh, to the stadium?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about if I'm going on the street, if I'm going to walk down the street?
Yeah. Are you going to walk? Are you going to down the side? I heard me. Are you going to walk down those streets?
No.
Or you're not planning to walk down those streets?
No, not at all.
You're going to take an intimate view of things?
I had that perspective 2 years ago.
Okay, I mean the intimate view?
Yes, I had an intimate view a few years ago, but
okay.
I'm not quite sure I'm going to take that view.
So you're not taking that intimate view, okay. And you're not walking down the street?
I'm not walking down the street.
So where so so where you up to? God to Muta, I know you're up to, big man. I know you're up to. Eh?
No, not up to anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's an event coming up that might not be on the radar, right, so to speak. It's not one of the highly promoted events.
Okay.
But I actually like what it represents, and if I'm going anywhere, I'm going to go. It is Bounty Killer and Friends.
Okay. Where is it and when? It's your phone behind it, huh?
It's this coming Friday, actually. In Kingston.
Okay.
And Bounty has managed to put together a stellar lineup of acts, some of which we haven't seen, and the ones that we have seen. When you put everything together, to me, it is pound for pound, probably the best lineup of dancehall acts I've seen for maybe 2-3 years.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. You're talking about Baby Sham, Busy Signal, Wayne Marshall, Assassin.
Yes, that's what you mean already.
I mean?
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Richie Stevens, Chris Martin,
yes,
Bounty Killer. When you put that together in one place, it is fireworks.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Right, it is fireworks.
Yeah, I totally get it.
So, it's not on the radar like the rest of the events, but, I'm paying attention, and it is.
Okay, all right. So, when you
I'd like to see how that unfolds.
I'm going to take an intimate view of things.
Again?
Well, remember, we never get in last time.
Oh, okay.
Remember, we never get in, so, I should have followed you, because how you did do? You leave straight from work and go?
Just about, yeah.
So, me go and go sleep.
The Irish entourage left here.
Yeah, oh, yes, right. Yes.
Like about 3 o'clock or thereabouts.
Well, my problem was me to go and go sleep, and take my own little time and sort things out, and then.
No, I know it would have been a brown rush, but let me hope though that this time.
No, yes.
This time
we can't manage that.
The
traffic.
No, not the traffic, because it wasn't the traffic that was the problem,
It was the
infrastructure.
Okay.
Of the property that caused the
property itself, or the planning by the town and planning and whoever did that plan. The
more than that, it was the infrastructure
of the property.
Yeah, let me tell you why. Because it was one single gate to get in, one narrow gate that you had to use to get in. So with the best of intentions that the police
it will back up anyway.
It is going to back up because you have this little narrow gate,
right,
or perhaps two, that you had, that everything else, everything had to go through, right? And you know, ultimately, it is going to. Yeah. So when the police take off 10 cars off of the road, I have to narrow it down now. The two go through the gate, or perhaps one. It is going to cause a backup, and that is what it was.
Yeah.
So
the ideal thing is
to have a wider entrance system that can take 8-10 cars off the road at any one time.
Can that be done?
To process. To go onto the property. So when you take them off the road, you don't have to get into a bottleneck and cause
that choke at the end. But so let me ask you something. The property can facilitate that 8 entrance points that you're talking about.
Sure.
10 entrance points.
No, you're talking
Mrs.
about.
said why you know about so you're not going to put up
hundreds of acres now.
True. So you're going to collect at all these different points, or you're still going to have a convergence point.
No, man, you don't collect at the gate.
No, Mr. Collect, go through security.
Right.
Because you still go through security.
No, you don't go through security at that point.
So when can I go through security?
No, not there. You get onto the property first, and then when you're going to...
And you park. True, you park.
And then you go...
And then you go through security.
Then you go through.
Okay, good. True.
So that is what it is.
Right. Okay, so it can be done.
Yeah, man, it's not...
Bushban, I hope you heard that. You know, I don't know if you heard any interviews leading up. I've not heard any interviews. So I don't know if this question was addressed about the.
I would love to believe that they would have learned their lesson from the last time. It has not been tested since then in terms of the crowd.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So you know, the talk about improving the flow and all of that. I don't know if all of that is going to work yet because it has not been tested. That kind of crowd has not assembled since then.
Right.
On that
Richmond. That is true.
That is true. It has not. So
and I think it's going to be a big crowd again this year. Because the lineup looked nice. I mean, it was Bourgeois and Berries, but I love the additions. The two.
When Marcia was there the last time.
Yeah, Marcia was there, and then
I say Romaine is
Romaine and you have
Bugle.
Yes.
Yeah, Bugle is now.
You don't have, what's his name? Where did I think that Wayne Wonder was on? Wayne Wonder.
Perhaps,
you know, some virgin from them days, right?
Fun Wayne.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I mean, like the sound of it, you know. Everybody beg me ticket. Me no ticket, I beg 2 ticket myself, Nick. Bonjour.
Yeah, man. Please.
You have ticket?
No.
So if I beg, no, but you not go.
No, but if I get ticket, I will probably change my mind.
Bonjour.
I could change my mind.
Bonjour, on. Yes. Me and Big I beg ticket. And Nick, me I beg ticket. Nick. Who else would you call? Shamar.
Just call everybody.
Call the police for me. Because me and Big need 2 tickets. All right, I'm more than 2 actually, because we need to carry the entire entourage. You have an entourage?
Of course.
Because when we move to them places, we have an entourage.
You have to have an entourage.
Yes.
Listen, music is no fun. Enjoying it alone.
No, exactly.
Most of the time.
Exactly.
Most of the time.
And especially when you go to an event like that, your entourage turn up.
Yeah, man. You really
this is how I see the thing.
You have to walk with people who who are not coming with you for the profile, but because they love the music.
Exactly.
When you are out with music,
there you go.
People, it creates a different atmosphere.
I am telling you.
And even if the stage show is whack, the company make it nice.
And even if you dance out of tune, them not have no problem. But they dance out of tune. Right.
You remember that song that Red Rat did a couple of years ago called The Tourist Dance?
No.
Eh?
No.
Well, you should not only know the song, you should see him dances. Totally offbeat. That is how you dance. You just dance totally offbeat.
Yeah. So it's exciting, it looked nice, and Big A said if him get him ticket, we're entourage up to the intimate thing. So we're waiting on the ticket, sir. I just saw it go.